Uh, well, dear learners, I welcome you all in this session on depreciation accounting. So, friends, you all might be knowing that there are there are assets in the business, and when we talk about assets, assets may be of two types: current assets and fixed assets. So depreciation is always charged on the fixed assets, not on the current assets. And fixed assets are those assets which extend the benefits over the number of years. Say for example, furniture, plant, machine, building. So these are the few examples of fixed assets. So what actually the depreciation is all about? Today we will discuss in this session that what we mean by depreciation and how the accounting treatment of depreciation is made in the books of the account. So depreciation is an accounting method of allocating the cost of a tangible or physical assets. Well friends, we have already discussed about the tangible assets or the physical assets. It means these are the assets which we can see, which we can touch. So the depreciation is charged on these tangible or physical assets over its useful life. Depreciation is defined as the reduction of cost of a fixed asset in a systematic manner until the value of asset becomes zero or negligible. For example, the fixed assets may be the building, furniture, office equipment, machinery, etc. These are the few examples of fixed assets. So here when we say that it is the reduction of cost of a fixed assets in a systematic manner. So well friends, you might be well aware that when the fixed assets are put to use, they get depreciated. It means because of wear and tear, the book value of the assets get reduced. So when the book value of the fixed asset get reduced on account of wear and tear, so this is what we call depreciation. So we can see one definition by A.N. Agarwal. Depreciation is a permanent, continuing and gradual shrinkage in the value of a fixed asset. When we say it is permanent, yes, depreciation is not a temporary phenomena, rather it is a permanent phenomena until or unless the full value of the fixed assets get exhausted, and it is continuing. It is a continuing process until the value of the fixed assets become zero, and it is a gradual shrinkage. So depreciation is a phenomena where we get the value of the fixed assets reduced over a period of time. Then if we see this definition, it is clear that depreciation is gradual. It is continuing and permanent fall in the value of fixed assets. The main causes for this fall in value are wear and tear of assets, passage of time, obsolescence and depletion. So, we will discuss these terminology in the coming slides, that what actually the obsolescence is all about, what actually the depletion is all about. So, depreciation and other related concepts. See, depletion. So, we have discussed about depreciation, that depreciation is a permanent and it is continuous and gradual shrinkage in the value of the fixed assets, and these things happens because of wear and tear, because of passage of the time, because of accident of the assets. So, these are the few reasons on account of which the value of the fixed assets get reduced. So, likewise the other related aspects related to the depreciations are depletion. So, this concept is used in respect of extraction of natural resources. So, when the natural resources are extracted, so the word depletion is basically used for extraction of natural resources from wasting assets such as quarries, mines, oil from the earth, etc. It refers to reduction in the available quantity of the material. So, when we will extract the natural resources from the wasting assets, say for example, if oil well are there and if we are extracting the oil from the well, yes, of course the available quantity will get reduced over a period of time. Then amortization. So, amortization refers to writing off the proportionate value of intangible fixed assets. Examples of intangible assets are patents, copyrights and goodwill. Well friends, when we have a copyrights or when we have a patent for a particular things that we have invented, that we have developed over a period of time, so that copyright or patents may be for a specific period of time. It may be for 5 years, it may be for 10 years. So, if the value of the patent, say for example it is 10 lakh and the patent is granted to us for a period of, say for example 10 years. If the value of the patent is 10 lakh and it is granted for 10 years, it means every year proportionately, it means every year rupees 1 lakh is charged as depreciation. So, here we will use the word amortization because for the intangible fixed assets amortization word is used, and for tangible assets it is the depreciation which is used, and for natural resources we use the word depletion. So, if the patent or copyright is granted for 10 years and if the value of these assets is, say for example rupees 10 lakh, it means every year the equal amount will be charged and the equal amount will be written off from profit and loss account in order to give a true and fair picture of the profit and loss earned by the business enterprise. Obsolescence. So, obsolescence refers to decrease in usefulness on account of external factors. So my request to the learners is that as far as the obsolescence is concerned, obsolescence takes place on account of external factors. It may be change in technology, it may be the demand and preferences, the taste of the consumers. So if these things happens, and on account of these external factors, if something becomes outdated, is called obsolescence. Then the fluctuation. So fluctuations refers to temporary increase or decrease in the market price of an asset. So this fluctuation may also take place due to external factors. It may be because of the demand and supply of the assets. It may be because of the political instability. It may be because of the regularity authorities. It may be because of change in policies. So these are the few external factors on account of which the fluctuation in the market price of an asset takes place. So when we talk about fluctuation, so fluctuation may be either side. It may be on the increase side and it may be on the decrease side as well. Characteristics of depreciation. So depreciation is always a fall in the value of asset. Yes, this is true that because of depreciation, the value of the asset get reduced, because on account of wear and tear, on account of passage of time, on account of accident of the asset, there is a fall in the value of the physical asset. Then the second one is, this fall is always gradual. Well, learners, as we have discussed, that the value of the asset is not reduced all of a sudden. This is a gradual fall in the value of the asset. It is because of wear and tear, it is because of passage of time. So it is not fall all of a sudden. Then the fall is of permanent character. Yes, of course. This is the permanent characteristic of depreciation, that until or unless the value of fixed assets becomes zero or equal to the salvage value, the scrap value of an asset, or equal to the negligible value of an asset. So it is a permanent character. The fall is a permanent character until or unless the assets, the value of the assets becomes zero. Then the next one is, the depreciation is a continuous process. So we have discussed, friends, that depreciation is a continuous process. It is not one time affairs. The depreciation on asset will be charged till the time the value of assets becomes zero. And it does not matter whether the asset was put to use during the period or not. So here it is pertinent to note that even if the asset is not put to use, the asset will get its value reduced. Definitely the value of the asset will get reduced. Depreciation is always on fixed asset and not on current or floating assets. Well friends, as we had discussed, that depreciation is always charged on the fixed assets, not on the current assets, and the fixed assets are those assets which extend their benefits over a period of time. Then the next one is depreciation is the fall in the book value of the asset and not in the market or exchange value. So depreciation is fall in the book value of the assets. So when the amount of depreciation is reduced from its original price, we get its book value. So depreciation is fall in the book value, not in the market or exchange value. Say for example, if I buy an asset of rupees 1 lakh and charge depreciation at the rate of 10%. So at the end of the first accounting year, I will charge the depreciation rupees 10,000. It means 10% of rupees 1 lakh. Now at the end of the first year, the balance sheet is showing the book value of the asset rupees 90,000. So next year the depreciation is charged on the book value of the assets, not on the market value of the assets, not on the exchange value of the assets. So the depreciation will be charged on 90,000. So at the end of the second year, we will charge depreciation rupees 9,000. It means the asset will reduce its value by rupees 9,000. It may be a possibility that on the other hand, the market value of the assets may increase, but the market or exchange value will not at all be taken into account while charging the depreciation. So this is what we must keep in mind, that depreciation is always charged on the book value, not on the market value. Then the next one is depreciation is the result of the use of asset. Yes, of course, when we use the asset, the value of the asset will be reduced. Passage of the time, yes, of course, as we have discussed, that depreciation is a continuous process. It is a permanent phenomenon. So even if the asset is not put to use, the asset will definitely get its value reduced. And obsolescence. Sometimes the assets may get obsolete also because of the change in technology, because of the taste and preferences of the customers, and so on and so forth. Objectives of providing depreciation. So here we will discuss the objectives for providing depreciation. The first one is to know the true profit or loss. So when we charge depreciation on the book value of the assets, so depreciation is charged on fixed assets and it is a permanent and continuous phenomenon. Of course, so when we charge depreciation, when the value of an asset get reduced, it is a loss to the business, and any expenses and losses must be charged from profit and loss account. Though it is pertinent to note that there is no outflow as far as the depreciation is concerned. No cash is going out, but the asset is getting its value reduced, and after the expected useful life of the assets, we need to replace the assets, and for that we need a huge amount. So therefore, in order to provide a true and fair picture of profit and loss account, we need to charge depreciation so that the income statement reflect a true and fair position of the profit or loss earned for a particular period. Then the next one is true and fair view of financial position. The value of fixed asset reduced from year to year on account of their usage and passing of time. Assets must be shown in the balance sheet at their reduced value, otherwise it will not reflect the true financial position of the business. If we are not charging depreciation, or if we are charging depreciation but we are presenting the assets in the balance sheets on its market value, then it will not reflect the true and fair picture of the financial position of the business. Next one is funds for replacement of assets. We provide the amount of depreciation because we need to replace the asset after its expected useful life, because no assets can be used up to indefinite periods. Every asset has its expiry life. So after the expiry of the particular asset, we need to replace it with a new one, and for that we need huge amount. So for that particular purpose also, we need to provide the amount of depreciation every year, so that we can create a corpus every year, so that we can replace the old assets with the new one after its expected useful life. Because if we charge depreciation from profit and loss account, so we would be able to reduce our taxable income by the same amount. So therefore, in that sense, we need to provide the amount of depreciation in order to replace the old assets with the new one, and for that we need huge amount. So depreciation can easily be calculated with the help of this formula: assets cost minus residual value. This is the value which one can realize at the time of discarding the assets at its expected useful life, divided by useful life of the asset. Factor influencing the amount of depreciation. First one is cost of assets. Yes, of course, the cost of asset will definitely influence the amount of depreciation. If this may be the cost incurred to bring the asset to usable condition, like transportation cost, and the cost which we have incurred in order to establish or install the machine. Then the second one is estimated useful life of the asset. The estimated useful life of the asset also influence the amount of depreciation. If the estimated useful life of the asset is more, the amount of depreciation will be less, and vice versa. Then the next one is estimated scrap value. So the scrap value refers to the estimated value to be realized when the asset is sold at the end of its useful life. Then the next one is loss of interest. So the purchase of an assets involved heavy amount. Everybody knows. It may be alternatively invested elsewhere. So capital involved in the purchase of an assets implies a loss of interest on alternative investment. Yes, of course, if the same amount would have been invested elsewhere, the firm could have earned interest. But now because of the purchase of the asset, we have foregone that possibility. Then the next one is legal requirements. Provision for depreciation of asset is subject to the Income Tax and Companies Act. Legal provisions also influence the amount of depreciation. So, well friends, this was all about the topic on depreciation. So here today we have discussed about the concept of depreciation, how to calculate the amount of depreciation, the objectives of providing depreciation, the causes of depreciation, and the depreciation and other related concepts. So until or unless the depreciation is taken into account, the financial statement of a particular business enterprise will not at all be in a position to reflect its true profit and loss position and true financial position of the business. And one more important aspect which we have studied today, that every fixed asset has its expiry life. So at the end of the expected useful life of the assets, we need to replace the existing assets with the new one, and for that we need huge amount of funds. So in order to mobilize and in order to manage the huge amount of funds, in order to replace the existing assets with the new one, the depreciation is charged every year. So depreciation is something which helps the business enterprise to manage the funds in order to replace the existing assets with the new one. And that is one point. One important aspect is legal requirement also, because unless we charge the depreciation on the fixed assets, our financial statement will not at all reflect the true picture of profit and loss earned by the business enterprise over a period of time. So this was all about the part 1 of depreciation, wherein we discussed about the definition, concepts, objectives, causes, and the depreciation and other related concepts like depletion, amortization, obsolescence, fluctuations. So these were the few important aspects which we have discussed today with depreciation. So with this, I finish my discussion on this topic of depreciation part 1. Thank you very much.